question is, would he have been like that if she did not drug him, tie him to a bed, and her
yes,
bestie
he probably would have.
But we'll never know. Hello, you're watching Black by Reality, a place for Black by baddies and those who love us. Today we're talking about episode 9 of Cruel Summer. We are getting down to the wire, and as usual, I'm here with my co-host Alisha to talk about all these new findings about Luke. Hey, Alisha.
Hi.
Hello. So we learned a lot about Luke. What's the grand feelings from this Luke-heavy episode?
Toxic masculinity is bad. Yeah.
Totes.
And everyone is a victim to some degree. Like, it hurts men and boys too. And he, I think seeing more layers of his dynamic with his father was probably like one of the strongest points of this episode, which brought up a new theory for me. Well, I stole this theory from a friend.
Okay.
Yes, but it brings up a new theory about like how he died.
Yeah.
Or if he's even dead. There's also
that.
We never talked about that. We never talked about that.
I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, I'm starting to wonder if he's even dead at this point, because he's been talking about running away.
Not to sound grim, but like I hope he's dead. Like just because like I am not like I'm not a fan of like murder mysteries where you find out, oh, the person's actually not really dead. Like, what did we just sit here for 10 whole episodes if he's not, like, come on, like, it just kind of ruins the payoff at the end.
When we get there though, because we got a lot to get through. Big strokes though, this timeline episode is different and it really kind of effed me up, but I wrote things down.
Same.
To like figure out we're going. It was just like, girl, one is fall of 1999 and the other is the new year of 2000. You'll figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay. But
which also makes me wonder, like, like, because I think about time a lot, like time travel, sci-fi, and it's like this is the one episode that is from like a male perspective. Like, are we experiencing time differently because we're in a different gender? I don't know if that sounds too binary. I hope it doesn't. But like, and this is also possibly a deceased character. Time is also probably operating differently for him too because of that. So
yeah.
I wonder if there's an element of like sci-fi. We know that they love The Matrix. Like, I wonder if there's something. Yeah,
you're coming at this in a very different way than I am, because I'm just like, okay, I figured by the title, The Miseducation of Luke, it was going to go back to like all the points of view we did not see from him, because it's been Isabella and Meg the whole time. So at the very beginning, Luke is watching a tape. It has to be at least 8 years old, because we find out his mom died 8 years ago. All of them, he's at the cabin. It's just the Chambers family and then Megan, and everything looks so happy. And he's watching it at home, and he's tearing up, emotional. He goes out, he's chilling at the pool. Brent throws him off and just starts holding him down. And Steve is just like, let him go. And he does. And the minute that Luke is like, I could have died, he's like, don't be dramatic. Which gave me flashbacks to my childhood, honestly.
I'm so sorry.
I was mostly raised as an only child. It was the one taste of siblinghood I had. So it is what it is. It was my payment.
Damn. To any parents watching this, please take sibling issues more seriously, because That sounds so traumatizing.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And you're going to the
violence.
pool later.
I'm gonna be okay.
Like,
I love water. I will never stay away from water. I guess I'm a little Luke-ish in that way. So it's all good.
yes, yes. That was a good core memory for them to show because we know that Luke really wants to do, what is it? Coast Guard,
Coast
National
Guard.
Coast, Lifeguard. I don't know. Yeah, he wants to do one of those things. And he's just like, I love the water. Like, it's surprising that we're learning this so late in the show. I had no idea that he loves water. I love water too. I probably would have
Yeah.
liked him a little bit better if I knew that he loves
Yeah.
water.
If he was on that boat more often, but Megan was never on that boat with him, so we just see him in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
we
we know
really
that at
do.
the plunge, and we know that at the plunge, they like dive in the freezing cold water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, water is a big character this season because
Hmm.
also there's that flashback of Isabella and Megan taking that jump too.
Hmm.
So yeah, water is also the murderer. So
Hmm. Absolutely.
mhm.
So, okay, so Brent and Steve and Luke, they're having cake to celebrate their deceased mother's birthday, and they're going through memories. And the most important part is that Steve points out that Luke reminds him of the mother because they have the same sense of humor. You can see Brent's face. He didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. And then he uses his misogyny to get back at Luke and was just like, "Oh yeah, you're so in touch with your feminine side, blah 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 blah," and yeah, ends up dissing Luke.
Which shout out to boys, mass presenting people, men, like anyone who identifies with the feminine, like it's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing.
It
Get
is,
in touch with your divine feminine.
yeah, yeah, but we need to also remember this little dynamic because I think it comes up, and I want to talk to you about it. So now Luke, Isabella, and Megan, this is like the beginning. It's after the first day of school. They enjoy ice cream. They're looking at a compatibility quiz, and Isabella's asking them both questions. Luke is getting things wrong. And then these boys from high school sees that they're doing this and are dragging him. But he's like, I'd rather hang out with you girls than these boys.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, did you do those like stupid little teen
Yeah.
quizzes when you were? I did too. I used to love them.
Did you see the name of the magazine?
No, what was it? Was it J14?
It was Cosmowine. So they couldn't use Cosmopolitan. So they were like Cosmozine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Cosmo still around? Is that still
Yes.
a thing?
Yes, it's very much.
I mean, I'm just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think that those are some key, like between Brent's comment and
Mm-hmm.
him hanging out with Izzy and Megan and the boys coming and shading him, like we're seeing that like um there's ways that Luke felt, yeah, I feel like he felt like he had to like succumb to certain like toxic masculinity
Mm-hmm.
stereotypes in order to like fit in with his male counterparts, which ended up like with him, it turned into him sacrificing his relationships with Isabella and Megan.
Yeah.
And he's trashed for that.
I also think he started to feel like he wasn't fitting in with Megan and Isabella because, like, Isabella's cool and everything. She doesn't make the remarks she does later. But in this, when he gets wrong about Megan playing video games all night, Isabella's like, "What?" And they just started like laughing like it was an inside joke. And it was like, "Oh, Megan could never do it all night. She only likes 1 hour tops." And like, I think that's just a little seed planted of like they have their own bond that he's like not
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. That is true. Yeah. But also, like, I don't know, there's just things that you learn about people when you have sleepovers that you wouldn't learn if you don't.
Yeah.
But then again, like they've been like Luke and Megan have been friends for so long that they probably had sleepovers too. I don't know.
I don't know if boys and girls have sleepovers. New big thing. So Luke goes to Steve's office, and, you know, Steve has this big model of that Northland project that we know goes down south. Um, Luke looks really bored as he's explaining this, and Steve tells him, you need to finish that Branson application. Luke says he loves being out on the water and wants to be in the Coast Guard. Steve loses it. He said happiness is overrated. Do you want a family? You need to support them. You can't do all this on a military salary. Like, he shredded him.
See, that was triggering for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when Steve said that line about like, I'm not gonna bankroll this, like if you decide to, like if you don't go to this college, like I'm not gonna bankroll this, like definitely went through that with my dad. So that was definitely my moment of just like, fuck, that hurts. And I think that like, yeah, the whole happiness is overrated comment, like Steve is so hurt.
Yeah.
Steve is so hurt. Like this man is like, and do we think that this pain is goes back farther than losing the wife?
Probably.
Because he is like, he feels fundamentally hurt. Like
he's so wrong. He's so
wrong and so hurt. And it's just like, damn, like you are just,
he probably was raised this way, honestly. Like he's just repeating that cycle.
So like, did Brent not get into this school?
He did. He goes to Branson. We hear about that.
Oh, you already got one child in. Like that should be enough. That's more than enough. Like
it's not though. Like the daddy says so, and it's ridiculous. So I don't know. It's so ridiculous. And then, but my one question is, oh, I'm not going to bankroll this. It's the military. They pay you sometimes to freaking go. So like, that's not an obstacle. I'm like, Luke, you could still go. That means nothing. But whatever. We find out who is on Luke's side about the Coast Guard. Unsurprisingly, it's the sheriff. I don't like this.
He had the application. I don't like it either. He had the application mailed to the police station. Like, this town has like no sense of boundaries. Like, I don't even know if boundaries is the right word to use, but like, what? That's so weird. And then the sheriff like playing this like faux daddy figure for a second. That was so. I mean, I guess it also explains why this sheriff is going ham for like trying to figure out this murders, because they had a connection.
They had a big connection.
Yeah, they had a connection, but it's still just like, it just felt, that was a strange scene.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, you should talk to your dad. And Luke's like, I already did. And at this time, I'm like, yeah, Luke already did. Like, this isn't going to change anything. But this cop, he thinks he knows everything, I guess. We find out that Megan and Luke going to different schools is actually a problem for Luke. Did not think this was the case. But, you know, they've been cuddling in bed. He talks about he doesn't want things to change between them going to different schools. And she's like, oh, it won't. And then we see the recorder and the tape at the foot of the bed.
Okay.
It's giving possession. It's giving, I can't let you go, like in a very creepy way.
Yeah, so you're not just filming like the sex, which already is disgusting, but you're also trying to capture these like intimate conversations. Like what is going on with this young man? I think something about losing his mother has him in this weird place where like he wants to like hold on to these moments with Megan, probably because he also likened Megan to his mom, which is also creepy. Red
He
flag,
was
y'all.
like,
Like,
"You're
if
gonna
you are
be my
dating someone
emergency
and yeah, if you
emergency
are dating
contact."
someone and they say you're just like my mom, I mean, maybe in some contexts that's a good thing, but I think in this one it's like very disturbing. Very disturbing. I think you're one of my emergency contacts.
Ooh, good. I like that.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if you were weirded out by that. No, I
Mm-mm.
think, yeah, this young man, I mean, the way, I mean, I will say, I will hand it to this show. I think what I appreciate the most about this season is how they're incorporating like surveillance and technology into this season and the and like how that conversation was starting at the end of the 90s and how like the nuances around it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the ways that it was used against women, the ways that it was used within these intimate situations. Like I think that's very interesting. I don't know how successful they're writing about these things, but I at least appreciate that
Yeah,
it's a conversation.
totally.
But yeah, Luke and Jeff, Luke and Jeff, because I think that I have two theories about who came to that dock.
Okay, I have a theories too.
Okay,
So
we'll get there. Yeah.
we make it to November. They are dressed up. I don't know, what is Isabella dressed up as?
Oh, as one of the agents in the Matrix. Girl, you
Oh,
need to watch the Matrix.
Isabella, you could have done your own thing. Like what? I was
I
like,
mean,
oh,
she wants to fit in with them when it comes to this.
you can leave the couple to do a couple costume, girl.
Megan's Trinity outfit was her best outfit all season, and it wasn't even attached to her
Absolutely.
personality. It was literally a cosplay, and I was like, I would wear that in a heartbeat. Like
Yes.
Matrix fashion is my aspiration one day.
Like
She killed it.
her as Trinity, um, she that that should have
Cuntiest
gotten
moment of the season.
that
Cuntiest, besides Isabella's looks. Besides Isabella's looks every episode, that was Megan's cuntiest moment. Like that Trinity outfit, okay?
that should have gotten the whole fanfare that Megan got at that stupid party just because she let her hair out of a ponytail.
I agree. That's yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. It was so good.
I can't believe it. I can't believe, and it was just them in this room. Like you have this
Yeah,
outfit,
where did
and you
they go? Like, what was the point? Was that a daydream? Was that like a fever dream while Luke is like on these sleeping pills tied up to the bed? Because it had there was nothing tethered to it. It was just there.
it was just there. It's so
It was just
weird.
there.
So
Also, Isabella could have dressed up as Morpheus. That was a missed opportunity.
but she's
Her
not
as an
bald.
agent.
She's not bald.
So what? The agents don't have bobs. The agents don't have that wig that she
See,
was
that's
wearing.
probably why I didn't know who she was. Because I thought Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was Pulp
Maybe,
Fiction before
I
that.
mean, I feel like they would have said something pulpy if
I
it
know.
was.
It wasn't. It
I
wasn't.
feel
But
like
that's
it
where
was
my mind.
supposed to be Agent Anderson.
Yeah.
No, not Agent
Okay.
Anderson, just Agent.
So it's November, right? Uh Megan forgets her glasses. She goes upstairs. So it's now just Isabella and Luke. And, Isabella tells him that Megan's following her dreams and so should he. And he's like, "Well, what if I just want to be her accomplice?" And she's like, "I already am, and there isn't enough room for both of us." And he looked like that was weird. And I want to know what the turn is here, cuz I'm trying to remember like what happened before November at this point. We already went to school. November,
I
it's
don't
not the sex
know.
tape yet. It's
It's
not the sex tape.
not. I
So,
mean, we
oh,
know that at the plunge, that kiss.
it didn't happen yet though. The plunge gets mentioned later, so that hasn't happened yet. Maybe Isabella did still have a little feelings of like, oh, I broke up this couple's together, and like, I don't know. She definitely has a sense that Luke is holding Megan back somehow, though. Like, very set on that. He is. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a pinpoint moment, but there's something we don't know. We'll probably learn in the last episode, but I'm trying to investigate. So anyways, yeah, Brent later talking about secretly filming women. It's gross. With all the boys there. Later, apparently Megan and Isabella kept going out to the pubs together with their IDs. I'm sorry, but this version of events does not line up with everything we're watching.
Yeah, this episode, I wouldn't be surprised if in the finale we find out that some of these things are not real. or just, I don't know, like it did, a lot of it just made no sense.
It didn't, because how does Megan have the time? She was hanging out with Isabella, but also Luke. I felt like she really never stopped hanging out with him until she later got mad at him. So that hasn't even happened yet. And then the whole time she's trying to learn how to like break laws with Ned. Mm-hmm. She was so
and she's working at that restaurant.
Yes. When does she have the time to still go out to the pub with Isabella and they're so close that she forgets a date with Luke? I feel like that would never happen. This is a whole different version of Megan. The version of Megan, apparently, that's not a pick-me. Like,
I mean, it is true that like different people see different versions of us.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, maybe because we're seeing Luke's timeline, like him seeing her like forget a date, that contributes to last episode when he was tied up and he was like saying all this shit about Isabella, like smothering her and like getting in the way. It makes sense for him to say that, seeing that he's perceiving them being so close. I'm not saying it's like it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense to his character. Yeah. So
I see it. I see it. But it doesn't make sense. Like, Luke doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, not Isabella, Megan in this episode, she is giving like very supportive girlfriend, very like he is seeing her in a particular way. We've seen this in her already, but I feel like it tracks that he's seeing a very specific side of her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like Isabella, she notes that a guy was following her around, so he gets a little jealous about that. We're just seeing all these things that obviously he doesn't like about Isabella. Okay. Jeff has things to say, boo-boo. Jeff was at the sheriff's office and Luke is just hanging out. And, Luke is like, oh, who are you taking to homecoming? Trying to be buddy and talking about girls with him. And he's like, hold up. We're not doing this because
I love that for Jeff.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. He's like, you're not going to be in my face pretending like
you're still my girl. Like, well, no, she wasn't his property. But
she wasn't his property.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But we're not going to pretend like you're also my friend. And as a friend, you couldn't even tell me, hey, I'm feeling the girl that you're feeling. Some communication.
Exactly. There we go. Right.
And
beautiful Black moment, hands down.
Beautiful Black moment,
him
baby
standing
moment.
up for himself and saying all that.
Mm-hmm.
In the calmest way, like still true to his character, right? Like
absolutely.
If it was anyone else, he probably would have like wilded out a little bit more, but he did it so swiftly. He was like, no. Mm-hmm. We're not that type of friends. We're not even friends. Like, I kind of wish that it's not the timeline. It's not the timeline. I was gonna say I wish that he said something about the tape, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that timeline yet.
This is right before December. So we're not there
Yeah.
yet.
It's right before,
So
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he ends it by saying, "You're worse than Brent because you actually think you're a good guy." And it's like, this is what
Which is facts. Which is facts. Which is facts. Like
we said that shit.
complete facts. Yeah, he said it. He said
And
it.
like,
But also, Jeff, you are a bystander to the fuckery too, because you be sitting there saying nothing when all the boys are talking about all these misogynist things about your friends who are girls. So you're also trash.
accomplice,
But
yes.
again, accomplice, yes.
Complicit. Like, my thing is when Brent was talking about, oh, like you can film with these girls, but you get a better performance out of them when they don't know. So Jeff was the one who
Yo.
put
Yo.
two and two together, and he's like, so you're hiding the camera? And Brent confirms, and Jeff just doesn't say anything else. It's like, and then what?
Like
And then what?
These yo, I hate this show.
If Jeff is not a goddamn mole for the sheriff, then they're trash. he better be wearing a wire or something.
Also, why have we never seen Jeff and the sheriff in conversation?
I don't know.
There has to be a test for that, right? There has to be a test for like two black people in a mostly white show having a conversation about the white fuckery.
There
Or about
absolutely
their black joy.
is.
Like there has to be a test for that.
But Isabella and Jeff have done it a few times.
They have, yes.
Yeah.
But they still end up talking about the white fuckery.
Yeah. So we're finally in December 1999. Isabella, we find out that they're like about to try to go see No Doubt. We find out that Isabella is even trying to get her to Madrid, and Luke is like, what's this about going to Madrid? And Isabella's like, yeah, she needs to travel. Staying in one place too bad is bad for the soul. Which honestly,
Facts.
I agree.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
Like Honey Boo Boo probably has not been outside of this town her whole life. Like,
I know. Yeah, she has not. And this college that she lost her scholarship to, I'm guessing that was in another state, but she hasn't lost the scholarship yet.
no.
But that would have been her ticket out.
Played. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been her ticket out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know where Branson is. But yeah. So Luke once again feels out of the loop. I think it makes, I don't know, it's kind of weird Megan hasn't said anything because, like, why wouldn't you? But also she's like, I think she's kind of in her mind playing pretend with Isabella because it's probably a very long shot she does go to Madrid. So she was like, I wasn't going to tell you until like it happened. But you did apply for a passport. So I don't know.
Honestly, Megan is a hacker. I feel like she always has something else up her sleeve.
Yeah, she's not great at
communication. I feel like even if she's not 100% sure if she's going to Madrid, she still knows she needs a passport though. Mm-hmm. You know, like, so I think it was still a logical decision.
Yeah. So surprise. Luke is a legacy and he got into Branson. So he tells his dad, Steve is hype, but then he also tells his dad I got into the Coast Guard, and his daddy is mad. He says he's not gonna pay for it, and he's sick of trying to fix him. What is broken with Luke?
Ooh, exactly. There's nothing. Yeah. I don't know what that meant. But it definitely stung. I was just like, oh, that's a terrible thing to say to a child.
Mm-hmm. And on top
of that, Luke also throws some words around like knives. He's like, it should have been you. No, first he's like, I know you wish it was me. that died in the accident. But then he switches it around and he's like, it should have been you.
Yeah. Maybe he was projecting because Steve looked a little caught off guard. I don't think he's missing his wife. He does not read as a man who's missing his wife.
You don't think so? I think he's missing her. At least in the beginning of the show, that was talked about more.
That was because Luke died.
Yeah.
He was in his mourning episode and he's like, oh my God, I lost my wife. I lost my son. What did I do wrong? And it's like everything. Everything. But something we need to pay attention to, because during that rant, Luke says Brent is his real son. Do you remember that?
I do. Do we think that, biologically speaking, Steve is not Luke's father? Or do we think that he meant, like, y'all are two peas in a pod, you know?
I don't know, but I'm noting it because I was like, ooh, what does that mean? And what does Steve mean by I'm trying to fix you? Like, And Steve does say you're very much your mother, like you're not like me. So it's like,
So we think that there's another Fava out there.
Yes, and like, again, we're gonna keep going because I have a theory that I'm building. So
okay.
So yeah. Luke tells Megan, oh, I'm thinking about running away, blah, blah, blah. He's in a sad boy mode at the Christmas party. So we find out Steve confronted Luke after that
the way you just said that.
I'm starting to wonder if he's even dead at this point, because he's been talking about running away.
I hope he didn't run away. I hope that he died. No shade. No shade. We've just invested too much time for this child to not be dead. Like,
he could still be dead though. Like, what if he was trying to run away, Steve found him, and boom boom, in the water you go.
I don't Okay.
We're trying to make this.
I'll hold space for that.
And he goes in the water and he
did not die that night.
It's still possible because of how this episode ends. It's very possible it's still the same night.
Yeah.
Like, he could, like, push Luke into the water or something, and he doesn't know Luke is on benzos. Like, Luke is inebriated and will not be able to swim like usual. I think it's just possible.
Right.
Yeah. Your face.
Well, no, I mean, I definitely think, well, let's get there.
Yeah. So at the Christmas party, Steve confronts Luke after the Chambers family comment. He's like, I'm done with this. You're gonna quit whining. He's like, you need to stop trying to embarrass this family. And Luke is like, you don't give a fuck about the family. You care more about your reputation. And Steve was like, reputation is important. So Luke said, well, here's this for your reputation. Takes a tape. I notice he doesn't actually look at what it is, and it's not labeled. Yeah. He gives it to a staff member. Like, this is the Christmas holiday tape. Put it in.
That's exactly how he shook his neck. He was like, this is my father's favorite tape. Like, he did that. But okay, a part of me thinks he probably does know what the tape was, because his face after she walked away, his face was kind of just like,
I think he didn't
know. Committing to what. Why would he make that face then?
I think he looked shocked. I think he actually did look shocked, and he really ran his ass off to, like, stop it. I think
no, I'm talking about after he gave the staff member that tape, the camera focuses on his face afterwards for like a good 3 seconds. And his face looks like, okay, like, I'm committing to this. Like, I'm committing to what this tape is. I'm committing to how this might, like, the way that I perceived it is that he probably did put the sex tape in intentionally. but was thinking of it as like, I'm trying to ruin our reputation. I don't think he was thinking far enough ahead to think this is also going to affect Megan.
It's
I think he was
possible.
just thinking, yeah, that's what I think. And I think that like in the moment when the tape is playing, that's when he just said, oh fuck, like that's when two and two came together for him. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
theory on that.
Yeah. My theory is he got the wrong tape. I think my theory is that the tape he got, it still has something to do with the mom. Maybe it has something to do with his dad, his real father. Like I
Oh.
really think like that's what he was going for. It was specifically a targeted attack on the dad, and like he was like, "Oh shit. Like yeah, this does embarrass my dad, but this is not what I meant to do by getting out this sex tape." That's just like my theory. Because afterwards,
What do you
after it
think?
played, he looked shook. He looked shook.
What do you think? What do you think he was? What do you think was on the tape that he was intending to play?
Something that's really embarrassing to Steve, and I think it might have to do with the mom, whether it's like a private tape that between like baby Luke and the mom, maybe that like she's saying something about Steve, or maybe it's a secret tape he got of Steve and the mom that would be like really embarrassing, whether he's like being an asshole to her or something else.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's my theory of what he was trying to do.
Okay, I recant my theory then. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
So after this fallout, we see like Luke's getting props by the guys. He sticks by the lie that it was with Isabella, and not Megan. And Luke's in later on, he's getting the sads. This is the day before the
Mhm.
plunge. So we know by this time Megan's in deep with Ned, and she was already suspecting that Luke and Isabella were somehow fooling around and everything. So there's a lot of distance here. And Luke tells Steve, I'm trying with Megan, but she's just really upset at me. Steve says, you're young. Like, there could be more efficiency. She's going to school. So, like, and these are all facts. And he's still sitting there moping on the couch.
I'm curious about whether or not, like, we know that Megan was so worried about losing her scholarship because of the
Yeah.
tape. We don't know if anything ever happened to Luke. We don't know if Branson was just like, you know what, we know that y'all are legacy, but nah,
I
like
feel like it would have come up.
that's that's a problem that like Megan, like that's the fucking problem. Like Megan is
Yeah.
out here rightfully scared out of her mind about losing her scholarship, and that was never a thought for Luke.
He's chilling. No, it
And it
never
was
comes
never
up.
an anxiety for any of them.
No,
For the
he's sitting
father,
there.
the only thing the father is worried about is the reputation and the fact that like, oh, like you need to apologize to Megan because like you cheated. That's it.
Yeah. The one consequence is that Steve doesn't get that Northland deal. Like, that
Yeah.
is a direct effect of this tape being played.
Yeah, that's
But
the one
like,
consequence.
yeah, after that, like, Luke is just, oh, I want my girlfriend to go to the plunge with me. Like, that's his biggest issue. Where Megan's like, what is my future looking like right now?
Trash. Like he's
Trash.
like,
So we're finally done with fall of 1999. Now we're caught up to current day. Well, not current day because we did see the future beyond this, but January 1st, 2000. So after after Isabella pulled out that gun, it went off. Megan is like, she takes a gun from Isabella. She's like, have you lost your damn mind? Isabella said it wasn't supposed to go off. So, but it
yeah,
did, girl. But it did, girl.
but it
So,
did, but it did, and thank God you're a bad shot because
Wild. Luke calls bullshit on Isabella. He's like, you were trying to kill me. And so Isabella says someone might have heard the gunshots, so you need to book it. Megan's like, we can't leave this boy like this. And so Isabella does. She books it. And Megan stays behind and she's like, oh, by the way, Luke, I just need to tell you. It's like Luke is high. Luke has a bloody ass ear. Luke is tied to a bed.
He's tied up. Yeah, and Megan, she's just like, this is the best time to let him know that I am with his child.
And you're surprised that he's like, we got to get rid of this? Like, it's not compassionate at all. But, like, I wouldn't want to have your baby either. I would not after this. Megan?
Yeah. But also, like, can we talk about how bad the acting is in this show? Because all Luke and Megan is doing is like, they just keep making that sound. And I'm just like, like, in this moment, I'm just like, what is going on?
Truth. So yeah, he was like, oh, my daddy can take care of it. Gross. And then he walks it back when Megan obviously gets upset. She's like, stop. And he's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And she's like, you did. And she was like,
see, I actually, like, even though this is like a terrible time to tell someone that you're pregnant, I really do feel for Megan, because, like, I feel for Megan for the first time this season, because she's going through it. She's pregnant. She just made some bad choices tonight. Her best friend shot her boyfriend. She makes bad choices all the time, but, like, imagine how much worse she feels right now knowing that her boyfriend is like, I don't want nothing to do with this baby. Like, telling her my dad can get rid of it. Like, damn, like, can this be a conversation? This is the worst time to have this conversation.
She's a teenage felon. She's a teenage felon. Megan is down bad.
She is.
All her faults.
It is.
I'm struggling.
I have compassion for both of them.
But my question is, would he have been like that if she did not drug him, tie him to a bed, and her bestie?
He probably would have.
But we'll never know. We'll never know.
I mean, we won't ever know, but we see the evidence that, like, he probably would have responded this way. Like, he's a raving misogynist, okay? He like planted this sex tape. He's over here like talking bad about his girlfriend and her best friend behind their backs, making it seem like he got both of them wrapped around his finger. Like, and he's trying to go to the Coast Guard, to the lifeguard, whatever, safeguard. Like, he's trying to do all that. Like, he would not want to have, I don't think he would want to have a child with her, even without what they did to him tonight.
My thing
so
is,
I think
my thing is, misogynists still would, especially, think about it. Megan is starting to have an out. She is making plans to go to school. She might go traveling to Madrid with Isabella and see things outside of him. Misogynists actually love knocking up their girlfriends and being like, ooh, but now you got to be a mama, so you need to slow down, girl. No Madrid for you. They love that shit.
No, I don't think he's the type. I'm saying that he already was saying that she's practiced for like when he goes
to
college or to the military. Like, he's not trying to stay with her.
But we're seeing inconsistencies. This whole episode gives us inconsistencies now, because I thought he was on that. But now apparently, from his point of view, he's been nothing of like, I'm really sad that Megan's going to leave. And like, I just want to be with her forever.
You
so
could
like,
be
what
sad.
is it?
You could be sad someone's going to leave and not want to have a child with them. Like,
you can, but you're thinking, you're thinking like someone who's logical. And I'm telling you, if you get into the misogynistic cis man who also has been working at the police department and wants to go into the military, power move. It's not about the child. It's a power move over having that power over a woman's life.
Yeah. I think she was thinking that by telling him about this unborn child that he was gonna soften.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
And he didn't,
yeah.
and I think that's really heartbreaking for her. He like, I think that's why she's just like, fuck you. It wasn't
Oh, yeah.
like, I think that was the breaking point for
Yeah.
her. More
I
than
think so.
Isabella, more than the sex tape. It was just like, oh damn, you don't want to have this child? Fuck you. Like,
Yeah. But again, of course he doesn't, boo boo. You drugged him and tied him to a bed, and your bestie shot his ear. You'll be. Ooh! It's just.
yeah. Yeah.
But, Isabella did take the drugs from the place. She also took the tape, and then before she left, she said, "Don't say a word." So yeah. So yeah. And we saw that part. So okay. So they left. They did. And Luke is like, I gotta get out of here. And he manages to wiggle out of those ropes. He leaves. He's going through the woods. And when Linkin Park's in the end played.
Why didn't they just play the Linkin Park version? Like, that cover was not it for me. Like, the music choices in this episode, like, as a musicologist, I'm just like, why didn't they just play the original?
I think the slow down version that we get is like he's groggy. He's not in it. Like, I think it was a good song to like really emphasize that like he's in the trenches mentally and physically trying to get to wherever he's going.
Musically, I don't know. I didn't like that version. That's just me though. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I was not a fan.
Yes.
They could have Hulu could have saved that for next season of The Handmaid's Tale. Like, it probably would have fit better.
So Luke, where does he go in his time of need?
To the edge of the dock. At the very edge.
That's very risky, my boy. That's very risky. So yeah,
he loves the water.
He loves the water, but like water and inebriation does not go together. So he pages someone. We only get number 75. I don't think that's ever come up before, but that's there now. And the episode ends with a close on someone's leg pant, walking up. Luke looks and he says, "I didn't think you'd come."
All right, who do we think it is?
I don't know what Brent's doing at this time. Is Brent home from school?
It could be Brent. It could be Brent.
It could be Brent. But why didn't he think this person would come? It's like, could be Steve. Their relationship is very weird.
I was thinking Steve. Thinking Steve, but Brent also makes sense if Brent was like doing something that night.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there's something said in the previous episode about like why he's not at that New Year's Eve party. And maybe that's why he didn't think Brent would come, because he was busy. It could be Jeff.
Ooh.
It could be Jeff.
I thought it was the sheriff, honestly. Seeing how close they are now.
It could be the sheriff.
And you know what? The sheriff can also hide some things.
The sheriff could hide some things. I don't think it's the sheriff. Okay. I want it to be someone more on Luke's level. Like if it's not someone on Luke's level, I would say the dad. But like, I would like it to be a teenager. I would like it to either be Brent, Jeff. Yeah, like I want it to be. And now I feel like I can confidently say that Megan and Isabella, they are out the crime scene. Like, they're gone, right? Like, so it has to be a new person who I mean, they obviously have like, Megan and Isabella have obviously like planted the seeds for the death. But I think it's a completely new person who actually like contributes to the last blow.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably Jeff who shows up. It's probably Brent.
Yeah.
I think it has to be one, like a boy. It has to be like a teenage boy. I don't see him reaching out to a girl, because he's a misogynist. Um, if it's an adult Steve, who knows? Maybe he would call Debbie. Maybe he would
No.
call Debbie.
I have such a strong
I
feeling
think
that
there's
it's
room
the
for a wild
sheriff
card.
now.
The sheriff.
I have such a
Really?
strong feeling that it's the sheriff because, like,
why
first
would
of
he call
all,
the popo?
First of all, a crime has been committed. like, and
But why would he not think? Why would he not think a sheriff would come? Why would he say that? You know what I'm
maybe it's like,
saying?
oh, it's real late. Like, I never paid you. I don't know, but like, and also
I got a new theory now.
It's a way to throw us off. Okay, go ahead. What is it?
What if it's Ned? Ned lives right there. Ned lives down the block.
Ned
Ned lives down the
did.
block. I think Ned is someone that he would think would not come.
Yeah. Ned did come to mind, but it's like, why would he have Ned's pager number?
The walkie-talkies, remember? Maybe he rememmed.
But
I mean,
there's no
walkie-talkies and
number
pagers are
for
different,
that.
but like
Yeah, I'm confused.
maybe he got the pager number from Megan. Maybe he like peeped it one day.
Mm, mm, mm. I don't know.
I think it could be Ned. Ned seems like a person that probably wouldn't come. The
Yeah,
sheriff, I don't know if that's a person who wouldn't come.
yeah. Do we have? I don't think we do, but it's like, do we have a chaotic queer moment? I think this is the one episode that we can't even
I think
stretch.
when Isa said that they could be hoes on their own, like
When did that happen?
when like it was early on with the magazine scene where Luke was like where
Oh.
Megan was like, you can go hang out with them, and Luke was like, no, I'd rather hang out with you guys. And then Isa says something like, we could hoe on our own, because like one of the boys
Mm,
had said like bros before hoes or something.
yes.
So, and she like puts her arm around Megan.
Okay. I didn't hear that. Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. I'll just back you on that one because I don't have my own. Yeah. So that is the episode. Let us know what you guys think of the theories that we came up with. We're so close. Thank you for
Yeah.
continuing to listen and theorizing with us. It's been a season for sure, and a lot of people
It
had to
has been
say,
a season. It
yeah,
has been a season. I'm tempted to rewatch the last episode of last season
mm-hmm,
just to see if I could create a new theory, but yeah, it's been a season. I'm excited to see who did it or if
yeah.
it even was done. The reason why I am holding on to the fact that this child is dead is because Steve opened the body bag and looked.
Yes, I remember that.
So it's like he has to be.
But my thing is, if the sheriff is in on it to let homeboy run away, he could have been like, here you go. Luke posed to be dead. Take it back. And then Luke can go. It would be a lot. It would be quite a stretch to make that happen.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. That's a
But
lot of
also,
work. I
we
don't
never saw
know.
that body.
We didn't.
And
We
that's very
didn't.
weird.
And that's usually like a red flag that like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this might not be what it seems.
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
All right, guys. That's it for today. Yeah, subscribe, like, comment, and see you next week. Bye.